The exact moment someone subscribes to your newsletter is the most valuable window you'll ever get. But chances are you're wasting it by making a potentially fatal mistake. You don't have the one email sequence that turns subscribers into ready-to-buy superfans on autopilot. And if you do, chances are you're doing it all wrong. Today, I'm walking you through the one email sequence every business needs. An automated welcome sequence, one that builds trust, drives engagement, and warms people up to buy before you even sell to them. I'm breaking down the exact emails you need and the strategy behind them so you can get the same insane engagement I get from my business and for my agency's 6- and 7-figure clients. First, we need to get on the same page about what a welcome sequence is, what it does, and who it's for. So what even is a welcome sequence? A welcome sequence is a series of automated emails that goes out to brand new subscribers. It goes out immediately upon subscription, so as soon as someone signs up for your freebie or your lead magnet, that's the sequence that they should start receiving. It can be anything between 3 to 7 emails long. It's quite an intense sequence, so it goes out for about a week to a week and a half. And so the first couple of emails might go out daily, and then each email after that, there'll be more space between it. Now, I can already feel you panicking at the thought of daily emails. Now, this is not daily emails going on forever. This is daily emails for 3 or 4 days. And while you might be concerned that that might encourage unsubscribes, that people will get annoyed, people will get upset, and people will leave your email list completely, the stats actually prove something entirely different. So the stats tell us that, first of all, when people join your email list, they immediately expect an email. They immediately expect to see you in their inbox. And if they don't, it's kind of like, And the thing about a welcome sequence is this is when people are most curious about you and your business. So you really want to capitalize on that interest and make sure that you're sending these first few emails. So not only will people not be annoyed by receiving your welcome sequence, they'll actually be excited and curious. And the stats prove it too. The welcome sequences me and my team work on regularly get open rates in the 80s, the 70s, the 60s, easy. Click rates in the 60%, 55%, really, really high engagement because people want to hear from you when they first sign up to your list. And what does a welcome sequence do? Why is it even important? So the first thing to know is that a welcome sequence is not about money. This is not about making money. It's about building that connection between you and your subscribers. It's about creating that relationship, that know, like, and trust factor. This is a nurture sequence. The entire point of it is to nurture your audience so that they can get to know you, your business, your brand better, and so that they can start to feel like you might be someone that they want to buy from. Because every buying decision is actually an emotional decision. When we buy from people and brands, it's not usually a rational decision. It's primarily based on emotion. So that is what the welcome sequence exists to do. It exists to create that connection between you and make your business, your brand, someone they know, like, and trust. Your welcome sequence isn't a nice to have. It can literally be the difference between a list that simply grows and a list that actually converts. So for the businesses that don't have one, what makes not having one such a dangerous mistake is that it feels so harmless because your list is growing, you see people opening your emails, and so on the surface, everything looks great. But behind the scenes, your subscribers are drifting. They have no idea what you stand for, what makes you special, what makes you interesting, why they should buy from you versus your competitor. And you'll only realize that when it's too late, when you're mid-promotion, mid-campaign, mid-launch, and sales are slowly coming in, and you're realizing that you're selling to subscribers who are still acting like a completely cold audience. Who needs a welcome sequence? Every business. Every business needs a welcome sequence. There is no industry, no niche that does not need a welcome sequence. You need a welcome sequence. So let's get to work and outline yours. We're going to outline your welcome sequence together, but first thing I need you to know is that not every welcome sequence is the same because not every business is the same, and every business has a different audience and different requirements for that welcome sequence, different points they want to hit in each email. Now, if you hired me and my email agency to work on your welcome sequence, first thing we do is some customer research. So we would go out and find what your customers and your audience, your clients, your subscribers actually need to hear from you in order to feel like they know, like, and trust you. But I don't have that information for you. So what I'm going to do is give you a general but still super valuable outline that you can use. But as we're going through this, I want you to fill in the missing gaps for yourself wherever you can. Email 1 is the lead magnet delivery email. So if you've done this in the traditional way, you will have promised your new subscriber a freebie or a resource or something valuable in exchange for their email address. So they've given you their email address now, and now it's time for you to provide the resource. This email should only do one thing: provide the resource or freebie that you promised them. Don't try to sell them on anything. Don't try to introduce them to anything else. Focus all your energy on getting them to do this one thing, which is to engage with your freebie. So the thing about this email that most people don't think about is it actually has to do a little bit more. It has to still work hard, because yes, it's delivering a freebie, but just because it's a freebie, that doesn't mean people are actually going to use it. And you do want people to use the resource that you're sending them. You want them to use the freebie, because when they use it, they will see how good you are at what you do. And that's them getting one step closer to buying from you or hiring you, or whatever it is that you want them to do. So we want them to engage with your freebie. So it's not enough to just say, hey, here's the thing. Here's the freebie, download it or listen to it or whatever else. You actually need to sell them on the idea of engaging with the freebie. You need to actually remind them of why they wanted it in the first place and why it's going to be helpful to them. So use the space in this email to remind them of that. Here's a great example. Devon is one of our lovely agency clients, and this is one of the emails that we actually wrote for her. So this lead magnet is a video series, and what we want people to do is to watch video 1 of the video series. But we also want to remind them of how the video series works so they don't get confused and they understand what's going on. We also don't want to take their attention away to anything else, so we are focusing solely on the video series. We have a small section that says, by the end of this series, you'll know ... And then we go on to explain what they'll learn, what will be valuable for them, what they'll be able to do by the end of the video series. So we're selling the idea of them engaging with this series. We're working hard to get them to click, because we know if they do, they'll fall in love with Devon, they'll demolish the rest of her video series, and they'll likely sign up to her course later on down the line. That's it. That's the first email. Email 2 is the email where you introduce the founder or the team or your approach or the thing that makes you special or different from your competitors. The point of this email is to really explore the why behind what you do. This email is all about creating connection. You want the audience to understand your why, but not just understand it, really fall in love with it, support it, be with you in whatever it is that you're aiming to do with your brand and your business. You want them to connect with you on that level. So this email is all about telling that story or giving that information that will help them resonate with you, human to human. You might want to share your philosophy or your values, whatever it is that you feel like your audience needs to know about you to really get why you do what you do. And the reason you're doing this is because at the end of the day, people buy from people. And so we want to kind of humanize your brand and your business. We want your audience to see the human behind the business. And like I said, at the end of the day, buying decisions are always emotional decisions. They are rarely ever rational decisions. And so we really need to connect with your audience on an emotional level so that they can fall in love with you and your business and what you do, because that's the only way they'll buy from you later on. For this email, I'm giving you 2 of my agency client examples, okay? So the first one is a luxury salon owner. She got her business to 7 figures, and now she's teaching other beauty salon owners to build their business to 7 figures. So for her email, the subject line was "From my spare room to a 7-figure salon." And the reason is because we know that her audience, based on the research that we did, want to be where she is. They want to know what she knows, and they want to do whatever she did to get to where she is now. So in this email, we tell the story of where Jane started off and where she's at now and everything that happened in between. Because again, we're humanizing her. We also want people to be able to see that she was where they're at. She was in that position. And so being able to tell this story through her eyes really helps create the connection that we're looking for. It makes her more trustworthy and also likable as well. So for that client, her story was really important. We wanted to share how she got from where she was to where she is today. But with another client, with Heather, for her, it wasn't really about her story of, getting from A to B. It was really about who she is today and what she stands for. Because for Heather, what's really important to her is that she attracts subscribers and an audience who care about the same things that she does. She's very, very strong on her values, and she has particular values that she wants her audience to share. So in this email, this was really an introduction to Heather and what Heather stands for. And the whole point of this is that if this feels good to you, if it makes you like Heather more, then you know you're in the right place. You know that Heather is potentially someone you're going to want to work with. But if you don't like this, if this repels you, well, then that's a good thing, because Heather actually doesn't want to work with you. So see how you can use your emails to not just attract the right people, but also to repel the wrong ones. So in this email, we actually list Heather's values, because for her, she stands on business when it comes to this. She has rejected humongous clients simply because she didn't believe in what they believed in, and this is how she wants to be known. So when you're crafting email too, I want you to think about, what is important to me and my business? What is it that I want people to know? What is it that I need them to know about me that can help us build that connection, and that will also attract the right people, but also repel the wrong ones? Email 3 is the authority builder. This email is about proving that you are the best in the business and that you are the one people want to be working with. But the thing about authority is that it really only feels authoritative when it's somebody else who's saying you're the best in the business. So you don't want to be the person who's like, I'm the best in the business. You want to be the person who's like, hey, all these other great people say that I am the best in the business, because it's so much more believable when other people are saying it about you versus when you're saying it about yourself. So I want you to think about some of the ways that you can present yourself as being a trusted expert, a trusted authority in your field or niche. It might be that you have been invited onto podcasts or stages, so you might want to slip that in, or show photos of you on stage or videos of you on stage, whatever it is that you want to kind of include. It might be specific podcast interviews. It might be features. Maybe, I don't know, you're featured in a magazine or a book, something like that. Maybe you have testimonials and reviews or case studies that prove that you are really good at what you do. This is the email to share it. And if you're feeling weird about writing what some people might consider to be a braggy email, first of all, go ahead and brag. You deserve it. Second of all, one way to kind of avoid those weird feelings is to find what other people say about you rather than for you to say it about yourself. So let's have a look at the email that I wrote about myself, my own authority builder email that goes out to my email list. So I should give you some context in case you don't know who Joanna Wiebe is, but Jo Wiebe is one of the most famous copywriters in our field. So anyone that knows her will know what a big deal it was for me to be featured in her book. So Jo got together a bunch of six-figure copywriters and made us kind of share, or asked us to share, believe me, we all wanted to. We wanted to share how we got to six figures. So me being in this book is my authority builder. Anyone who knows Jo Wiebe will be impressed by it and will immediately trust me much more and assume that I know what I'm talking about. Because if Jo Wiebe trusts me, they trust me. That trust is kind of like transferred from Jo to them. Now, interestingly, if you are not a copywriter, you don't know who Jo Wiebe is most likely, unless you're in like the marketing sphere. She's very well known there too. But if you're not a copywriter, you won't care that I was in this book. And that's why it can be really helpful to segment your audience, to be able to group your audience into different categories based on information that is important or useful to you. So for me, this email only goes out to the copywriters, okay? I have a separate email that goes out to the non-copywriters because I know who's on my list. I know who is a copywriter and who isn't because I use tags and segments to figure that out. I send a different email to people who are not copywriters because again, they're not going to be impressed by this book, but they might be impressed that I was on the Being Freelance podcast. They might be impressed that I was on the cover of the Freelancer magazine. They might be impressed that I was on Claire Pellishaw's podcast, the Get Paid podcast. They might be impressed that I spoke at Atomicon. So I know my audience well enough to be able to understand what will impress them about me. And I segment that information and give them the appropriate, most valuable information to them. The goal being that they believe that I'm as good as other people say I am. Email 4 is all about providing value content. Now, every email that you send should be valuable in some form or another, but not every email is going to teach your audience something they didn't know, or change their perspective on something, or introduce them to a new way of thinking when it comes to your field or your industry. That's what I want you to do in this email. I want it to be pure value. I want you to show them how good you are at what you do. I want you to show them that you know what you're doing in your industry, your niche, your field, whatever it is. I want you to demonstrate how you're changing it. I want you to demonstrate how you think, how you strategize, how you work, What makes you special? It might be a podcast or a YouTube video or a blog post like mine is. So if we go back to my welcome sequence, the value content for me is this analysis that I did of Kylie Cosmetics' welcome sequence. So I actually signed up to their email list. I analyzed and assessed their emails, and then I recorded some content around how I could make it better. If they want to hire me, I'm available. Like, we're available. My agency's here for you. And here's how this worked, by the way. This wasn't actually original content that I created specifically for this welcome sequence. This was original content that I created as what was supposed to be a standalone email. But I sent that email out and I sent that content out. And oh my gosh, it got so many replies. I heard so many great things. It got so many shares and created so much conversation and engagement that I was like, there is absolutely no way this is going to be a one and done email. Absolutely not. This is an email that's going to live inside my welcome sequence. So I literally took that standalone email and I put it into my welcome sequence so that it would exist there forever, or at least for as long as I want it to live there. So the reason I chose this particular piece of content was, yes, because everyone loved it, but also because it was a really good piece of content that showed how I think. Because one of the things that makes me and my agency different from other email agencies or other email copywriters is that we're exceptionally good at the strategy side of things. So for me, I want my audience to see how I think. I want you to take a look into my email strategy brain and know that this is a unique way of thinking. Not everyone can think like this. And a lot of the time, the clients that are coming to us also don't think like this and don't want to think like this, honestly. They just prefer to hire us to think like this for them. So this is a real demonstration of my abilities and my approach to email. So that's what this was about. As you can see, I painted a great story around it because I love to tell stories in my emails. If you want to know more about that, you should watch part 1 of this series because I talk more about newsletter styles and how to write your emails. I paint like a funny story around it and then embed that content into this email. I still get replies about this email to this day, and it's literally been in my welcome sequence for, I want to say 3 years, minimum 3 years, maybe 5. This value content is also content that you can include in your welcome sequence over and over again. So I've just added one value piece in this welcome sequence, but actually you can add 2, 3. If you have really great pieces of content that demonstrate what you do, your approach, how good you are at it, this is a really good place to kind of embed that content and keep it alive and keep it working for you. Email 5 is about your offers. It's your chance to present your offers to your new subscribers so they know how they can work with you or how they can buy from you. Now, remember what I said at the beginning of this video. The welcome sequence is not about trying to get sales. Certainly, if you are a physical product business. I do just want to add the caveat, by the way. If you are a product business owner and you don't have a welcome sequence, oh my gosh. So some of the welcome sequences we've made for product business owners at my agency have made a lot of money. So in the first year, there was a business that we made, a small product business that we made £60,000 for. I mean, what is that in USD? Okay, that's 80,000. That's nearly 81,000 USD. Okay, nearly 81,000 USD. In a year. We planned that sequence, we strategized it, we wrote it, we set it up. The clients didn't change anything about it for a year. They set it up and truly forgot about it. It made them $81,000 that first year. So if you're a product business and you don't have a welcome sequence, oh, please set up your welcome sequence or come to me and my agency and we will do it for you, okay? So for you guys, welcome sequences are all about making money. But if you don't sell a physical product, if you sell information, if you sell digital courses, if you sell a membership, if you sell services, the welcome sequence is not about making sales for you. It's about warming people up so that when it's time for them to hear about what it is that you have to offer, they're ready to buy. They're in a much better place psychologically, emotionally to buy from you. So what I want you to do is in this sequence, introduce your offers, but don't expect people to buy from you. If they do, bonus points. We love it. But just introduce the idea. Introduce them to your offers. We know that it takes 7, 8 touch points, maybe more now, before people actually really internalize your message, hear your message, and even act on your message. So this is the first time they're going to hear about your offers. If you only sell one thing, this is a great chance for you to dive deep and really explain what it is and tell your audience what it is and how it helps them. If you have multiple offers, multiple services, you can list them because again, this is about presenting them with the option, the information, and not necessarily expecting them to run away and buy it. They're probably going to need some more nurturing before we can get to that point. For our course creator clients, I might present their, main signature course so that people know what it is and they start to get used to hearing the name. For this email in my welcome sequence, I decided to go ahead and share a case study. So it was a case study from some clients that we worked with called Mon and Alicia, and I share how we helped them make 170K in their 7-day launch period by doing their emails and their sales pages and all that good stuff. So for me, I wanted it to be less about like, these are our services and more about these are the results that we can help you get. I already had the case study made, and so it was a perfect opportunity for me to actually use it and get people to read it and hire us from it. At the end of that email, I do include the link to our contact form because I do want people to hire us and I do want people to work with us. And I want to give people the opportunity to work with us at every single possible opportunity. If you're not already using Kit as your email marketing tool, you should definitely check it out. It's a tool that I've been using for years. It is by far my favorite, and I have tried quite a few of them. Kit actually allows you to have up to 10,000 subscribers for free, and it allows you on that plan to have one automation. And so that one automation could actually be this welcome sequence. I'm on the paid plan, which unlocks a whole bunch of other amazing features, but the free plan is a great place to start. So if you want to check out Kit, head over to emancopycode.com/kit and you can sign up for your free trial. So let's just check that you got all that. Hopefully you had a notepad and you were writing things down because we just went through a lot. To summarize, email 1 is lead magnet delivery. Email 2 was the intro to you, your story, your business or brand, your why. Email 3 was the authority builder. Email 4 was value content, and you can actually add a couple of value content emails if you want. You don't just have to stick to the one. And email 5 was how to work with you or how to buy your offers or what you're selling, your services, that kind of thing. If you watch this whole video and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I don't want to DIY this, you can actually hire me and my email agency to do it for you. So head over to emancopycode.com/contact and we will figure that out together. So what next? Let's assume you did DIY it and your welcome sequence is now done. The next step is to funnel your subscribers into your regular newsletter. They shouldn't be receiving your newsletter before they've received the welcome sequence. But once they finish the welcome sequence, they start getting your regular newsletter. If you're struggling to know kind of what to do with your newsletter, you can actually take my free 10-question quiz to find out your perfect newsletter style, and that'll help you come up with ideas for your newsletter and make it easier and faster to write. The link is in the description below, so go check that out. This video is part 2 of my Reset Your Email Strategy series, so if you want to check out the other videos, press subscribe so you can get notified when the next one comes out, and go ahead and watch the last video that you missed as well. See you next time.